Hey Jason, what's up? Oh no. Gummy, what are you doing? What a jackass. Um... Early access. Yeah. No. I don't think so. Dodo Donateller's VG, I was finishing up a loaf of cinnamon raisin bread right now. I have 2 more slices. Also, new episode dropped. Gonna have to watch the full episode, no skip like you usually do. Trust me, this is a good one.
Stalin's plan, his script for the Chinese, works beautifully because when the nationalists...
Right, we can probably watch that later. I also fucking hate cinnamon raisin bread. That's just horrendous. Fucking hate raisins in bread. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
Nice to see you are able to do a nice after Halloween stream since Halloween is over, but that's okay. React to this.
A classified government report exposed by the Washington Post revealed just how much the U.S. has turned a blind eye to the alleged human rights abuses committed by the
Is Isaac all settled into Redacted room now? Did he fuck your brains out yet, nigga? Did you say come in me daddy with your ask yourself hoodie on?
He hasn't moved in yet. The bus that he was waiting for didn't come, and he has to wait till morning to get bussed out here. Thanks for the donation though, 21st. Fatal Fury devs knew what they were doing with that Chun-Li trailer.
Aw, what's wrong? Did I scare you?
Why is this running so slow?
Hardly. Now make like a ninja and disappear. Are you ready to find out who the true Queen of Fighters is? Time to show you some.
If Chun-Li were real, I'd lick her butt.
Israeli military, and it poured cold water on any lingering hopes of holding Israel accountable for war crimes in Gaza and the West Bank. And we'll get into the details, but
U.S. report finds hundreds of potential IDF human rights violations. That is very different than a genocide.
Jank, first blush, what are your 2 cents here?
So I know that Israel's not getting any special exemptions. I'm sure that every country that has human rights violations is treated the same way. Oh, it's no big deal. We'll break American law for you. Right, Jordan?
Let's find out, Jank. A classified report.
Like, this is so fucking stupid. Every country who's been at war, like, it's kind of what happens. When Canada supported the United States with the invasion of Afghanistan, there were a bunch of reports of Canadian snipers mutilating corpses. That is a human rights violation. Like, I mean, any country that goes to war, you're gonna have, like, some soldiers who just do bad things. I don't know how the hell that means, genocide took place.
TV. You're playing video games, you play World of Warcraft for 5 hours a day.
As the sauce, it takes too long, okay?
Yeah, Bucktoe Truck does have the best intro on YouTube. Why is this one? Follow the coordinates to Unity Hospital. Oh dear God.
Like I care if a bunch of anti-Semites have their worthless rights violated.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Goddamn right, Dodo. Thanks for the donation, dude. You say everyone will die one day, but what if immortality gets invented and people with lots of money can live forever? They're still gonna die. You could in theory, like, be able to live infinitely. The issue is, if you're in a car accident, you're still dead.
I was talking to a friend of mine about girls and dating, and he told me that guys with brown eyes are at a massive disadvantage compared to dudes with blue or green eyes. Do you think that's accurate?
Your friend sounds like a faggot. Yeah, that sounds like some of the gayest shit I've ever heard. Thanks for the donation, Skur. Dodo $20, I have to interrupt your gaming.
Do you have any evidence that Jesus was a Muslim? Go ahead. Because
the Quran. Yeah, the Quran.
The Quran.
Yes.
So the Quran makes a claim about the historical Jesus.
Yes.
Right? And you believe it. Why? What evidence does it provide that Jesus was a Muslim?
It tells you.
So just because it makes a claim, that makes it true. Really?
Yes. Especially the Quran saying, of course, it's God speaking, of course. God speaking, of course.
Really? Is that going to convince a non-Muslim? And when a Muslim says that Jesus is a Muslim,
I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm not trying to convince you using the Quran. You asked me why I believe Jesus was a Muslim.
Okay. Do you have any evidence outside of the Quran that Jesus was a Muslim? As a matter of fact,
I don't need any evidence outside of the Quran, mate. See,
so you just believe because the Quran says so?
I believe. Okay. So here's how this should work now. Why do you believe what the Quran says? It should be your next point. If you're asking me why I believe Jesus was a Muslim, and I say to you, well, because the Quran says so, your next question should be, why do you believe what the Quran says? Surely. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick. Oh, I believe because I believe the Quran's the word of God. I don't believe he isn't crazy.
Well, that's nice and retarded. Venezuela is a disgusting communist regime. Who gives a fuck about their LGBT policies? Hate them because they're communist. Maduro bans gay marriage, abortion, and sex changes. His US-backed replacement wants to legalize them. Oh my god. Tucker Carlson's a fucking retard.
But yeah, like cars are going to be autonomous. But there's just so many desk jobs where really what people are doing is they're processing email, or they're answering the phone, and just anything that isn't moving atoms, like anything that is not physically like doing physical work, that will obviously be the first thing. Those jobs will be and are being eliminated by AI at a very rapid pace. And ultimately, working will be optional, because you'll have robots plus AI, and we'll have, in a benign scenario, universal high income, not just universal basic income, universal high income, meaning anyone can have any products or services that they want. But there will be a lot of trauma and disruption along the way.
So you anticipate a basic income from that the economy will boost to such an extent that a high income would be available to almost everybody. So we'd essentially eliminate poverty.
In the benign scenario, yes. So
I don't know what he means by that exactly. Like, if you look at some of the, like, degenerate retard welfare queens, these people are poor because they're, like, fucking retarded. I don't know if, like, just because you have universal basic income, like, let's say we live in the future and we set up some sort of system where everyone has the equivalent wealth of, I don't know, maybe somebody making six-figure salary. There are going to be some people who use that UBI to, like, I don't know, better themselves. They buy the right food, they buy sensible clothes, maybe like a sensible vehicle, and then there's going to be some people who are like fucking retarded, blow their UBI money on nonsense, and they can't help themselves. Like, I don't know if there's technically any way to get rid of poverty unless we use like AI and robots and stuff to like prevent people from being retarded.
Cars are going to be autonomous.
Okay, that's the same
but there's
video. You like linked it twice. Oh wait.
And remember, happy Halloween, kids. And remember, say thank you.
Okay, that's weird. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Dodo donated $2 also.
Frankie re-upload.
Let me see. Blaha Venus prosthetic.
So I started my YouTube channel almost 10 years ago now because I wanted to help people improve their health through diet and nutrition. And I'm not even allowed to say that this guy plagiarized or copied my YouTube videos because a judge ordered that.
He violated the court order, like, right there. Oh my god. He got a court order telling him he can't make the claim that Paul plagiarized his content. And then he literally said, Paul plagiarized my content. Oh my god, when did he upload this?
That was slander and
Oh, he took it down, like, right away.
defamation. So not only do these Illuminati industry shills steal from you, if you realize it and try to fight against them, they'll have their Freemason Illuminati buddies, their judges in the court system, they'll actually win the case against you, because for the past 5 years, every single thing I've filed or done in the courts has been ignored in favor of these degenerate Illuminati, Freemason, selfish shills. And this guy, Carnivore MD, who has millions and millions of followers, who's made millions and millions of dollars, is nothing but evil and has spent all this money to maliciously harass me and continue to ruin my life, just like all of his other secret society buddies have. It's completely disgusting what these...
Yeah, it looks like some of these numbers are pretty big. 100,000 here.
These people have done to me.
Frank's blocking. So, yeah, so it looks like something new happened with that court case where Frank's ordered to pay a bunch of money or something. That's hilarious. Thanks for the donation. Blaha uses penis prosthetic.
Now is the time for courage. If you sit there and nod adoringly while someone tells you that Winston Churchill was the villain of World War II. Yeah. If you sit there and nod while someone says there's a very good argument America should have intervened on behalf of Nazi Germany in World War II. If you sit there with
Rich people like Brian Johnson are less likely to be in dangerous or risky situations. Buddy, are you fucking retarded? Rich people do some of the most dangerous, risky activities. Why, like, who the hell do you think does, like, MotoGP or F1 or GT3 racing? They're all rich. So everybody who's an F1 race car driver, they were rich before they did F1. So they're racing around a track in, like, the fastest cars on the fucking planet that can go, like, over 200 miles an hour. And they were millionaires before they even started doing it. Rich people go skydiving. They go bungee jumping in Mexico. They do fucking dangerous shit all the fucking time. So that's fucking nonsense. Like, they're also the people buying, you know, the fucking Ferrari F80 and all these hypercars. Rowan Atkinson, he fucking crashed his McLaren F1. Totaled it. And on top of that, Brian Johnson does dangerous shit all the time. He injected cadaver fat into his face, and he had an allergic reaction to it, and his eyes closed shut. He got an experimental procedure to inject a follistatin gene into his body. Like, he does risky, dangerous shit all the fucking time. That's just nonsense. And again, if you know, in theory, can technically live forever, that means you have an infinite amount of chances to die. So, if you can live hundreds or thousands of years, that is that's like millions and millions and millions of opportunities for you to get blown up, cut in half, incinerated, fall from a really high height, assassinated by somebody who doesn't like you. Everyone dies. There's no living forever. So, if you in theory can live forever, you're still gonna die. You're likely gonna live longer, but you're still gonna die.
Someone who says Adolf Hitler was very, very cool, and that their mission is to combat and defeat global Jewry, and you say nothing, then you are a coward, and you are complicit in that evil.
Well, Ted Cruz is pretty based there. Good advice.
Exercise is prayer. The science is pretty clear. It's one of the very best things you can do for your health. I will focus on 4 key areas: strength, cardio, balance, and flexibility. I'll do some resistance training to build and maintain muscle, high-intensity interval training to boost cardiovascular health, and mobility and balance drills to keep my body resilient and injury-free. Immediately following exercise, I'll head into the sauna, one of my new favorite longevity tools. Based upon the evidence we've gathered so far, 20 minutes at 200 degrees Fahrenheit, 93 degrees Celsius, it boosts my heart health, metabolism, and reduces inflammation. Sweating also dramatically lowered the toxins in my body. And for a little added contrast, I will strategically place ice packs on the boys to keep them cool. The goal we have with any new therapy is to find the highest performing therapies for longevity. We're pretty excited so far.
I don't know how he figures the sauna is improving his cardiovascular health. I can guarantee you with nearly 100% certainty it's not. I also don't know how it would speed up your metabolism. I don't even know how the hell it would reduce inflammation. Like, I could believe maybe it would lower toxin burden in the body because you're sweating so much. I could maybe believe that. But as far as the exercise is concerned, he's definitely right there. I'm not convinced with the sauna. He looks fat and his hair doesn't look good. What would your advice be to him? What do you think his breast size is?
The hundreds of billions of dollars to create a financial incentive to have this giant magnet to attract illegals from every part of Earth to these states. If that is turned off, the illegals will leave because they're no longer being paid to come to the United States and stay here.
Wow.
And then they will lose a lot of voters. The Democratic Party will lose a lot of voters.
And they would have a very difficult job if this is kicked out of reintroducing it into a new bill.
Yes.
Especially once things start normalizing.
Yes. So, in a nutshell, the Democratic Party wants to destroy democracy by importing voters.
I think the Republican Party is doing a better job at destroying democracy. My advice to Musk would be to stay on GLP-1 agonist drugs. This guy cannot follow a diet and exercise routine. So he should probably indefinitely be on GLP-1 agonist drugs. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo. Mike donated $2. Think Chat GPT and AI in general are going to make future generations of people super retarded since they're going to do all the thinking for them. Kids are using it to cheat on homework assignments. Yeah, it's going to be bad. We're going to have a lot of fucktards. Thanks for the donation, Mike.
It's almost as if Frank knows freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences, but just doesn't care though.
I don't think Frank is smart enough to understand a concept like that. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
I can't be live. I agree with a retard like Ted Cruz for once.
Yeah, true. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
What made you want to start taking TRT as a younger man? Also steroids.
I have never been on TRT. I started taking steroids for performance enhancement. That's not TRT. And, I mean, that's kind of a stupid question to ask. It's like, what do you think steroids do? So my primary interest with taking steroids is to get jacked. I want to be as big and strong as possible. Like, that's what they're used for. There's some other ancillary benefits, like they improve your mental health, particularly testosterone. Testosterone, and actually Dianabol, interestingly enough. They're proven to cause huge improvements in mood. I wouldn't recommend taking Dianabol, though, because it's an oral steroid and it causes liver damage, but testosterone has huge benefits for mood. It also improves bone density, connective tissue strength, increases your energy, you know. If you use these drugs properly, they can slow down some of the effects of aging. So, you know. Congratulations, you're banned. I don't know why you think you can come in my chat and just spam nonsense. Thanks for the donation, though, Mike.
Do you ever think humanity will ever reach a point where veganism universally accepted by most people in the world, where being a carnist is seen as taboo?
I would hope so. The issue is, everyone's kind of a selfish fucktard. I don't think it's a guarantee that there's a future where people are sensible. So, I'm not entirely sure, but I would hope so. Thanks for the donation, longtime fan. Kid Boo donated $2.
Yo, Sims turn women into narcissists. Social media created a pen.
Yeah, great. Thanks for the donation, Kid Boo.
Also agreed, VGAI will be the death of our species.
I don't think it'll be the death of our species, but I think everyone's gonna turn into a fucking retard. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Yeah, it's funny. Zoran has been caught using 4 different accents, and people still want to vote for him. Dodo donated $2. The Allahu Akbars did this. New video exposes how Turkey, Iran, Russia, China bankroll Muslim Brotherhood-led army in Sudan, Hamas of Africa. Brutal
Sorry
force.
about that. Misinterpreted.
Oh, you mean the TRT thing? I don't know why the fuck everyone started asking me why I'm on TRT. Where the fuck did that come from? Like, literally the first post the first mention I ever made on social media. I think, I think the first time I said I was on steroids publicly was on a live stream. And I said, I'm going on steroids now for, like, performance enhancement. And then I made a Instagram post saying, you know, what I'm on. And nowhere did I mention that I was on TRT. I literally said it's for performance enhancement. And then everyone's like, why are you on TRT? Why are you on TRT? Are you on TRT? I don't know where, like... And it got I could understand to some degree that people would make, like, the TRT assumption or something, because I started off only taking testosterone and growth hormone. But it became especially retarded after I added in boldenone. Like, boldenone isn't even FDA approved for human use anymore. And boldenone is not a naturally occurring hormone in the human body. And people still ask me why I'm on TRT. I'm on fucking testosterone and boldenone and human growth hormone. That's not fucking TRT. But thanks for the donation, Mike. Yeah, well... That makes sense that, you know, the usual suspects are funding Islamic terrorism. Curtis Silwa has always been a tool for Zoran Mamdani campaign to split the vote and let socialism hurt our city. ChatGPT analysis, Silva's last 100 social media posts indicating approximately how many times did Cuomo versus Mamdani combined. I mean... Like, Cuomo's the more viable candidate. Silwa could be seen, like, well, he kind of is a spoiler candidate. I think he would be better to vote for, but watchful.
Well, this is how we cook the Mahaway. This is beef talifat. Put it in very slowly. Oh, let it drain a little. Perfect.
Wait. So I'm guessing he's frying that in some sort of animal fat?
The ongoing dietary guidelines debacle with RFK, which some have categorized as an attack on beans, an attack on legumes, which, you know, for me, would definitely cross the line. So we're going to investigate that. And, you know, are RFK's health claims valid, or are they RF Craig? Let's go. Look, I understand why RFK and his health culture could be appealing. He exercises. He talks about how processed foods are bad. I was going to take on food corporations, all things that I'm proponent of. You know, he's not from a health agency. Maybe he's going to shake things up, but we can see from things like his educational background why he might be.
My squat still isn't great. I've been doing, like last session I did, I only did the belt squat. I just got the belt squat machine in. But I've been doing free weight barbell squats. Like last session I did, it was... I guess it was 315 for 5. I was training with Clarence Kennedy when he came over here. And we went to a public gym, and since he was squatting heavy and shit, I figured I'd squat heavy. I did 315 for 5 pretty easily. But but I've been doing mostly sets of 10 to 12, and last like lighter weight session, or last normal session, I did 265.
Like I have an ounce of sympathy for these Islamic terrorists, like these videos act as if I somehow should.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo. Yeah, I tore my adductor longus muscle a couple years ago, and I've had issues squatting, but since being on gear, it's healed a lot, and I've actually been able to push the squats and the leg training. So the weights are climbing up. So fairly soon I'll be doing some like actually good weight. How many sets do you do for squats? I've only been doing 2 sets for free weight squats, and I just get in a lot of additional leg volume with other exercises. So leg extensions, single leg extensions, lunges, and now we got the belt squat machine too, so I can add in a fair bit of additional leg volume. I may actually order a pendulum squat, maybe in the next few days. Maybe. Let me see. What was there's a place in Ottawa, I think, selling one.
Based on your martial arts background, what's your opinion on Muay Thai as a practical self-defense style?
Well, it's really good. mysportshop.ca. Muay Thai is a good... It is a good style for self-defense. Like, the big benefit with Muay Thai is you use elbows and knees, and there's the Muay Thai clinch. Like, technically it does incorporate grappling into the style. So, it is very effective for self-defense. The only issue with it is I don't know why this is the case with kickboxing in general, but you don't really emphasize head movement as much as you do in boxing. Boxing incorporates a lot more defensive strategies generally than what you see in kickboxing. That's kind of really the only hole in Muay Thai. But Muay Thai is extremely good. You basically use your whole body. So elbows, knees, low leg kicks and everything, like... It's the most complete striking martial art, I'd say. Thanks for the donation, though, Beef. What a relief. Yeah, I might order this soon. And this company is in Quebec. I think very close. They're in Laval. So if I ordered this, I wouldn't have to pay that much for shipping. And it looks like a good pendulum squat machine. The machine weighs 406 pounds. So it's fairly heavy duty. I was using a pendulum squat when I was training with Clarence at that gym in Ottawa. Pendulum squats are fucking dope. I may not even buy a leg press. I think pendulum squats are better than the leg press for quad development. So I think if I think this is the only other leg machine I might want. Since they're so close, I don't know if they have I don't know if they have a brick and mortar store where you can try some of their equipment, but I might actually go to make a trip out to Laval, Quebec, and see if I can. Yeah, they're like just outside of Montreal or something. Yeah, and they deliver to my area. Sick. They do have a pickup option. Ottawa. Give me money for this. Let's see. Kid Boo, don't need $2.
そこだシルバーチャリオット希望だけは守らなくてはすでに射程距離に入っているキングクリムゾン
Yes, order it, VG.
I might order this soon. The only thing I'm worried about with some of these machines is I'm pretty sure they're white label products from China, which doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. A lot of commercial gyms use some white label stuff from China. Like the one dead giveaway if something's not very good is if they don't have a lot of weight. So if this only weighed like 120 pounds or something, I'd be like, okay, there's no chance. But this weighs 406 pounds, so there's like a lot of steel to make it like good and stable. And it's really hard to fuck up a pendulum squat, and they do have a counterbalance weight horn there, which is a really good sign. The other pendulum squat machines I was looking at were the Arsenal Strength. I was actually using this one specifically. The Arsenal Strength machine. I was using this at the commercial gym. I really liked this one. It's about double the cost. Plus I'd have to pay for shipping and everything. But I don't, like, it's probably not any better, really. Like, like, at the end of the day, you're just moving weight. So, yeah, I mean, the machine might technically be better in the sense that it's more expensive, it's made in the US. It might be heavier, but, you know, at the end of the day, you're just moving weight. I don't think there's, like, any real practical difference in all likelihood with the machine. And the other machine is also fully adjustable. This has the counterbalance weights already on it, but... Oh no, it does have a weight horn. Yeah, it looks like it has some counterbalance weights on it, and then there's an additional weight horn. But there's a weight horn on the other machine. And the only other one that I was looking at was the Atlantis pendulum squat. The issue with the Atlantis pendulum squat is that it's $1 billion for the... Oh wait, that's the hack squat. Yeah. Oh, wait, that's the hack squad again. Oh, it's looking up the hack squad. Yeah, this is like $1 billion. It's like $8 grand, and again, I don't think it's, you know, that much better than the one I was looking at. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna commit to watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Thanks for the donation, though, Kid Boo. RF Gay Junior's Bussy donating $2.
Makes me mad. Pisses me the fuck off every time I think about it. Fuck it.
Yeah, true.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Palantir.
Yeah.
I thought they were just going to go after the criminals. I really thought there was enough gang members, so enough people, MS-13 members, and whatever they were looking for, that they're wanted. They would.
These people are just out of this world stupid.
For Zoran Mamdani, is eating with his hands. For Obama, it's wearing a beige suit. For Trump, it's not releasing the motherfucking Epstein files. There's levels to this. Imagine if Zoran Mamdani was at the Epstein Island, was on the flight list, was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and didn't release the list.
And you wonder why you have no viewers. Maybe because you're boring as shit and spend literally 20 minutes shopping on stream like we don't give a single fuck. Holy fuck, you boring piece of shit. You do this shit all the time. Thanks for wasting my time.
That's great. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
After he said he would get deported, he might get assassinated. He would get criticized every day.
There have been, what, 3 assassination attempts on Donald Trump? So it's kind of strange that he's saying that.
Trump, he just fucking he does a double hand job dance to get away with it. It's like, and everyone's like, yeah, all the MAGA people.
Sneeko is one of the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet, and it's retarded that anybody takes this guy's political commentary seriously. As if eating with his hands is the biggest controversy around Zoran Mamdani. Not the fact that the guy isn't a natural U.S. citizen, not the fact that he's a fucking Muslim jihadist, not the fact that he has basically been buddy-buddy with literal terrorists.
$8.820.00 for a squat machine now, that's outrageous.
Yeah, it's overpriced, for sure. Atlantis equipment is definitely pricey. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo. Okay, I can't watch any more of that nonsense.
Falling for some pseudoscientific Dr. Ozzy type claims out there. And yeah, specifically, he has a Bachelor of Arts in Literature and History, as well as some law degrees, meaning me, a random YouTuber with a Master of Public Health, has more health schooling than the head of health in the United States. And he comes out with claims like Tylenol or acetaminophen causing autism.
It's not dispositive that causes autism. It's so suggestive that anybody who takes this stuff during pregnancy, unless they have to, is irresponsible. There are 15 rodent studies.
Using some largely older and loosely correlated associational data and then characterizing that as causal, while ignoring newer studies like this one that takes confounders into play and even shows a lower rate of autism for higher Tylenol use during pregnancy. There's a pattern of doing that, which in terms of critical thinking, you wouldn't expect coming from somebody with multiple law degrees, but here we are. I do want to add, since filming this, RFK has walked his statement back, saying that there isn't sufficient evidence to say that it's causal, but it's still highly suggestive and that people should be careful, just so you guys know. Anyway, we can move on to just the topic of food. We can leave all of the other topics behind for other people to cover. And as I've joked about before, he has a penchant for just eating random, wild, or exotic animals or just carrying around corpses, whether we're talking about a dead bear or a dead whale. And that is likely the same type of behavior that got him his brainworm, which is most likely a pork tapeworm larval cyst. So it's not like the little earthworm that people more or less imagine it as crawling around in his brain, but it's still funny to imagine it that way. Let me out of here, please. Am I swimming in beef tallow? But first, let's hit on the positives. Why not? First of all, that he supports whole food consumption. Obviously, I do as well. I wrote Mike's whole vegan cookbook a while back. However, that does have a flip side of over-demonizing all processed foods, which aren't necessarily unhealthy. We'll cover that in a bit. But another supporting point is that he's helped get rid of these petroleum-based food dyes. Let's say that we just really don't need these. We have other ways to make food dyes, and then we do have some studies showing some negative behavioral correlations with certain ones. I do think it's a bit over fear-mongering to just say they're all bad, so it might be overcautious. I do feel like it's probably gonna have a net positive if it has an effect. And another one is he is trying to remove this loophole for getting generally recognized as safe in a self-certified fashion for corporations. The companies can really be their own policemen in terms of a new ingredient that they're introducing being safe. The problem is he's introduced something else which might also be problematic. RFK DRAS, generally recognized as pseudoscientific. If it doesn't have science, it must be right. All right, let's get right into that whole dietary guidelines issue because he is, of course, very influential with that. And we have this 2024 Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee report. He said it's too long, and one of the main recommendations they were making in there was to take beans, legumes, peas, etc., and move them from the vegetable category into the protein category. And this is amazing because we have a bunch of different experts on this committee with different leanings.
In the report, the pro-bean push is obvious, also citing the health benefits, as well as recommending less red and processed meat.
And it was a pretty big step forward, and he just went, no, I'm gonna shred that up. It's too long. He said it should only be about 4 pages long, which made it seem like he wasn't aware that there is a 5-page summary that's usually made of these reports. And this is where incompetence comes in as well, because RFK claimed that he's gonna get stuff out in summer and then fall, and then now it's before the end of the year, and are we even gonna see that? I would bet no. And while it was a large document, many have inferred that RFK is just not a supporter of beans instead of meat. He's pushed animal protein and animal fat again and again and again. But it's good to remember that, yes, legumes are a good source of protein. I'm still alive after 16 years vegan. And on the dietary guidelines, RFK said, quote, new dietary guidelines that are common sense that stress the need to eat saturated fats of dairy, of good meat, of fresh meat and vegetables.
Where's my late night crew? Happy Halloween, motherfuckers. Much love, VG. 52-month. Gat damn. Well, thanks, Kenny. Appreciate the support. I had a loaf of bread for Halloween. I made a really good loaf of bread. That loaf of bread was great. I don't think I'm ever buying bread from the store again. I'm actually good at making bread.
When we release those, it will give everybody the rationale for driving it into our schools. Yes, you heard that right. Stressing the need to eat saturated animal fat, which brings me to perhaps his biggest crusade, the beef tallow crusade, which as a result has led to replacing the seed oils in Steak and Shakes fryers to beef tallow.
To switch to traditional ingredients like beef tallow. Oh, by the way, here you go.
And in terms of beef tallow saturated fat, we're talking about 6 grams per tablespoon, which is about a third of many authorities' upper limit recommendation. So we can only do rough projections of the exorbitantly high amount of saturated fat in his deep fried turkey. Sometimes I dream of popping out of his ear and jumping into that boiling vat of beef tallow, but alas, I am trapped here. And of course, the high saturated fat in beef tallow, like butter, increases LDL or bad cholesterol, higher levels of which are causally linked to atherosclerosis. And it's important to note that the studies that found that in many cases are Mendelian randomized control trials. They are genetically randomized and are capable of determining causation, unlike the weak associations that he's used to claim causation in the past and all the time. I can now confirm that what was once cerebral spinal fluid is now just cerebral saturated fat. That's why I'm stuck in place and can't escape. And a point I've been thinking about with food in general is that each year, estimated, we take about 50,000 bites of food, and it's obviously really hard to keep track of all the macronutrients and calories in those. And then we just hope that our body composition is going to remain healthy or get even healthier. But perhaps we could have a little bit of help with something that can keep track of metrics as well. And that brings me to the Hume Body Pod, which is, of course, today's sponsor. It is a body analyzer that has 8 points of contact using electrical impedance to estimate your body composition, looking at a ton of different areas of measurement, not just your raw milk issue here, because he's pushed it harder than I think any other public figure, at least that I'm aware of. Quote, raw milk is active in bioavailable enzymes, probiotics, and is being aggressively suppressed. Why might it be suppressed?
Yes, from the CDC itself.
Raw cow's milk has 840 times the risk of leading to illness that pasteurized cow's milk has. Pasteurization isn't any crazy nuclear process. It's just shortly heating it up to 135 degrees and letting it go back down again, lowering the risk of pathogens passing on. From right here behind his eyeball, I've had to witness him slam down gallons after gallons of raw milk. Oh, what these poor wormy eyes have seen. And this just puts us at a risk of so many more infectious diseases that we don't need to be at risk of. For example, the bird flu that recently occurred, in which cats that were fed raw cow's milk in a lot of cases died. So we really don't need to just open up this avenue and have everybody drinking raw milk. And just a recent case in Florida from earlier this year, we have over 20 people getting sick from raw milk. 7 were hospitalized, 2 had severe complications. And RFK is really into like manliness and working out, and it's just good to remind people that cow's milk from this study was shown to lower testosterone in men. So lap that up. Anyway, moving on.
I just want to add, maybe you noticed this weird hyper politicization of neutral like health pages for the first time that I've seen. Regardless of your stance, I just don't think this is the place for that.
Now I want to talk a little bit about processed foods. He's always throwing out the term ultra processed foods. It's sort of an open-ended definition and just an overall fear of processed foods. I understand why you would want to push that out there because there are a lot of really unhealthy processed foods. A processed food eating pattern is certainly less healthy than one with more whole foods. But there comes a point where just demonizing all processed foods could even be counterproductive to health. For example, vinegar, which lowers blood glucose, is an extremely processed food. If you think about the processing situation, you're taking like grape juice or whatever original feedstock that you have, and then you are...
Dodo Donate Tellers, would it have been better if RFK Jr. were elected president instead of Trump and subsequently RFK Jr. appointed as HHS secretary? I think maybe yes. You mean Trump were elected as HHS secretary? How could he be the president and HHS secretary? I don't think either would be better than the other. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
Are letting it turn into alcohol, and then you're opening it back up to oxygen and letting it go even a step further. So your white vinegar is processed.
What do you think about Gavin Newsom running for president? The issue with Gavin Newsom is he's a gay retarded liar. This dumbass has been pushing for like firearms bans for the longest time, and now he's backpedaling like crazy, being like, oh, I'm pro-gun, la 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 la. This motherfucker is still the governor of California, and he allowed California to ban Glocks. So, like, we all know he's full of shit. This guy is gonna try to impose firearms bans. He's a fucking cocksucker. He's also lied about a lot of political promises. Like, he's just such a typical politician. So, there's... like, especially considering the state of things right now, I don't know if he's the most viable candidate, because so many fucking people, especially who are either center or center-right, just aren't going to vote for him because they know exactly what they're gonna get. They're gonna get another, like, fucktard liberal who's pro-overregulation, who's gonna take away their guns.
Even further than like vodka, and yet it is giving us positive health results. So processed is not synonymous with negative health effects, just like how unprocessed doesn't necessarily mean positive. For example, unprocessed poison ivy wouldn't give you a positive health effect. Or how unprocessed raw milk straight from the cow's teat, again, 840 times the risk of illness. And perhaps one of the biggest benefits of focusing on eating whole foods is eating whole plant foods that have fiber, yet his advice seems to be devoid of increasing fiber consumption because it's pretty clear he's on more or less of a low carb diet. He's constantly eating low carb foods. He doesn't seem to directly use those terms, but over and over again is the pattern we see him eating. But at least he eats vegetables in this day and age that is actually nice to hear. Now I want to get into what is really a current development, and that is the lab-grown, aka cultured meat situation. And he is, of course, as with his political side of the aisle, very against this type of meat. He says, quote, lab-grown meat offers private corporations the opportunity to place intellectual property rights on meat development and thus create a financial windfall at the expense of human health. Also saying, quote, lab-grown meat is a pipe dream. Actually, it's a petri dish dream. Again, for those that aren't aware, we have about 80 billion land animals that we raise and slaughter and kill for meat each year, but with a single little turkey feather or chicken feather or a sample of an animal.
Dodo $92. I said if RFK Jr. were elected president instead because his other policies outside of health are generally probably better than Trump, and we already have all health downsides of RFK Jr. anyway. He's definitely less of a fucktard in general compared to Trump. So, you know. Maybe. Maybe. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
Animal. You could continuously grow meat that does not hurt animals indefinitely, and they've now figured out how to do that in a plant-based medium, so you're not growing it in weird extracts from animals. So now we just need to scale up the technology and make it financially feasible, and it's starting to happen more than ever. For example, the California-based company Mission Barns has made cultivated pork, and it is going to be doing tasting starting November 1st, essentially every month for the coming months. And people are going to be able to taste it for $13.99, and we have recent studies like this one showing that with the growth medium coming down in cost, like this could eventually be cheaper than growing entire animals for food, and that could be a lot sooner than we think. I know it's not natural, but I also don't think our current way of growing animals is natural, and this, of course, has met a lot of resistance from RFK and his political allies who have now
outlawed lab-grown or cultured meat in at least 7 states now. However, I believe that the main motivation to do this is actually, as we've seen with Governor Ron DeSantis directly with the cattle ranchers, is that they want less competition for those cattle ranchers so that they can maintain dominance in their space. I too have maintained dominance in my space. It's not all it's cracked up to be. This is a literal prison. Please release me. So at first glance, Maha and RFK Jr.'s health advice appears to be benign. Oh, exercise more, eat less processed foods. Underneath that, and really his main unique claims that he's pushing are things like consume raw milk, which has a way higher risk of illness. Just guzzle that beef tallow, which is of course super high saturated fat, when heart disease is our leading killer. It's not going to be helping anyone out. And really this dietary ethos that he's put out there is along with this general political anti-veganism push that we see, whether it is financial for cattle ranchers or just people's cultural bias against a vegan diet all coming together to the same side of a coin. I don't know what his dietary guideline recommendations are going to be, but I have a feeling that they are going to be very off-base, very non-scientific, perhaps oversimplified, and not really help out everyday Americans. Like he says, it's going to be 4 pages. Page 1 is probably going to be raw milk, drink as much as you can. Page 2 is just going to be a picture of a giant turkey dunked in beef tallow. Page 3 is just going to be like food dye is scary. And then the last page is just going to say seed oils with a little skull and crossbones in the middle. So let me know what you think about what I've covered in this video. There's a bunch of more health claims in and around this whole culture and from RFK Jr. in particular. Feel free to share them.
That's some stupid shit. Who is the most viable candidate? Like, that's the problem. The Democratic Party has nobody that you can actually be excited for. They're all just lame-ass, like, fuckwits. Dude, I have no fucking idea where the hell I'm supposed to be going. Like, again, there's no map. Why in the fuck didn't they include a map in this game? And, it's like, the amount of backtracking that I'm seeing now is just getting unhinged. Like, this is so much backtracking.
Forward.
Oh. Burst fire weapon. So it's a new ammo type, too. Burst fire modes are fucking stupid. This is not a dungeon crawl. Dodo Donatillers, if someone like Bill Gates or Mark Cuban ran for president as a Democrat, those would be some exciting candidates because they're very skilled and take sensible positions and aren't grifters as far as I can tell. Mark Cuban would definitely be an interesting candidate. I'm not so sure about Bill Gates. I don't know what his stances are on a lot of things politically. But Mark Cuban could be an interesting candidate. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Oh yeah, like clockwork. Democrats promote fucking firearms bans and gun control, and they know. It is like the most politically unpopular position to take in the United States. It is always used by Republicans to fearmonger and get people to vote Republican. And they still do it. And what's fucking retarded is we already have data. We know gun control does nothing. It actually increases crime. And despite there being multiple Democratic presidencies, they've been completely unable to even institute any of the firearms bans that they've wanted to. So, like under fucking, under Obama, Biden, all these fucking people, firearms laws have expanded. So why would they fucking try to push for these gun bans when firearms laws are only expanding? It's a losing battle. Nobody wants it. And you're losing voters in elections over it. Like, the Democrats are just fucking insane. I don't know what the fuck their, like, weird gay fetish is for fucking banning guns. But it's unhinged. Dodo $22, you know who all the grifters in the Democratic Party are? The ones who endorse Zohran Mamdani, which at this point is most of them, unfortunately, including Pete Buttigieg, Obama. Ironically, Hillary refused to endorse or vote for him, as she said 2 days ago. Who would have figured Hillary would be the fucking one with the base take? Yeah, it's... Like, dude, the Democrats are, like, they're just so fucking cracked at this point, and a lot of it has to do with communist infiltration into the party. Like, the Democratic Party is just a fucking mess. What game is this? This is Kronos the New Dawn. Where do I go from here? Why can't I shoot the... Oh, there it is. Isn't that a... There we go. This gets very confusing. Am I going the wrong way? Yeah, am I going the wrong way? Yeah, I think I'm going the wrong way.
Rev capsules destroyed. So many of them.
I can't tell if I'm, like, retarded or going nuts. Okay, I guess we'll go back. Yeah. So... What the fuck? Dodo, $22. The truth is, if a Democratic politician supports Zohran Mamdani, pays lip service to Free Palestine movement, or claims Israel's committing a genocide, well, you know, right there, their grifter and unqualified speaks to all other credibility, etc. Well, yeah. But, you know, dumbass, fucktard normies. want to vote for those idiots. Okay, what in the... I have no clue. I swear we were... I don't know. I have no fucking clue. Okay, I guess this is the right way. So, what the fuck were we... I don't know. Who cares? Those enemies are so cheap. They are so fucking cheap.
Is Jasmine Durian Rider Stefania in this game?
Why do they have an enemy that fucking shoots the shit at you? Firing at them doesn't stun them. And you move so slowly, it's impossible to avoid damage. Like, it is so fucking dumb. Some of the fucking design choices they made in this game are just so fucking stupid. Late? Well, it's 3:30 here. But yeah, we're doing some late night gaming. I overdosed on bread and then I had to take a long nap. I'm still kind of recovering from that cold. I just made a normal, like, loaf, sort of like a baguette. You know what? Fuck it. Let's see if there's a trainer for this game. Fling trainer. There we go. It's literally impossible to upgrade shit. Not only do you need the cores, but you need enough of the energy resources. Dodo Donatillers, meanwhile, all the Democratic leadership are endorsing Zoran and brushing aside concerns you have. The voice of reason of the Democratic Party here.
Next week in this city, it does seem like Mamdani will become mayor. I'm going to ask this quite bluntly. Do the Jews in this city have a reason to be concerned?
We'll have to see what happens. I hope not.
The fact that this is someone who talks about, doesn't denounce the slogan, globalize the Intifada. What are your thoughts when you think of that?
I do not believe that we are able to predict what's going to happen. I can't sit here and tell you. I can only hope that there will be whatever happens in the election, and it hasn't occurred yet. So everybody should go out and vote. But it is important, to deal with whatever the reality is next Wednesday, whatever it is, and for people to play as constructive a role as possible in making sure that we don't face the kind of worries and concerns that have been expressed.
If you had a vote in this city, would you vote for Zoran Mamdani?
You know what? I don't vote in this city. Look, I'm not involved in it. I have not, been at all, even asked to be involved in it, and I have not chosen to be involved in it. I will be there the day after, and everybody else should be too, no matter what happens.
Yeah, who'd have figured Hillary's the only non-crazy fucking bitch in the Democratic Party. Thanks for the donation, Dad. So why are these locked? Wait. No crafting requirement? Negrals base donators. Negra on the case.
L says, have you ever met anybody with a B12 deficiency? No, I haven't, because B12 doesn't exist.
There is now a clique of vegans that believes that vitamin B12 doesn't even exist and that we don't need to supplement it. One even wrote a book about it. This is dangerous, and their advice could kill people if they follow suit. Vitamin B12 was identified in the 1940s. This came after the identification of pernicious anemia, a potentially fatal condition characterized by a type of anemia with enlarged blood cells and degeneration of the spinal cord. Researchers in the early 1900s found that feeding liver to these patients could dramatically improve their condition, and this led to the isolation and identification of vitamin B12 by two separate research groups. Now, pernicious anemia is an autoimmune condition in which cells in our stomach that help us to absorb vitamin B12 are destroyed. However, B12 deficiency can also be caused by other conditions affecting absorption or by just not consuming enough, which could be the case for vegans who don't supplement or consume fortified foods because B12 is really only concentrated in animal foods and supplements. And in addition to what was mentioned previously, B12 deficiency can result in a wide range of symptoms. These include fatigue, numbness and tingling, memory loss, confusion, or even death. This is because B12 is involved in DNA synthesis and the synthesis and repair of myelin, which insulates our nerves. It turns out DNA and nerves are pretty important. And some of the strongest evidence that B12 deficiency is very real is that giving oral B12 supplements or B12 injections can reverse these symptoms if done promptly. But the longer that the nerve-related symptoms are there, the less likely it is to be fully reversed. So let's prevent that in the first place. And like he mentioned, in today's day and age, you may not have actually met somebody with a serious B12 deficiency, but that's largely because of widespread supplementation and fortification in foods like plant-based milks and cereals. Avoiding those altogether is dangerous for vegans. But it's also not a vegan-specific issue. B12 supplements are often recommended for elderly regardless of their diet because our ability to digest and absorb B12 declines with age. And it's not uncommon for animal feed to be supplemented with vitamin B12 either. This is partially because the soil that's used to grow their food is often depleted in cobalt, which is needed to produce B12. Now, regarding the author of the anti-B12 book. A friend of mine who was in contact with her several months ago suggested that she speak with me about this topic, but once she found out it was me on the other end, she declined. I also had a back and forth with her on his post, and she again declined a debate, and he even went so far as to say that debate is pointless here. Which I found pretty ironic because his content is almost exclusively just him debating people on veganism. So I'm gonna call this what it is. It's cult-like behavior, and it not only stands to hurt people, but can hurt the animals. The moment that somebody follows their advice for long enough to end up in the hospital or worse, it's going to be on the news. And the headlines are going to read, "Veganism kills," even though the problem was they were talked out of taking one of the cheapest supplements on the planet. A vegan diet can absolutely...
I can't stand those people. they're such fucktards, and I don't even know why they're motivated to do any of this shit. Thanks for the donation, Negrils based. Why won't that open? Yeah, I take B12 injections. I don't know why there's this weird anti-B12 thing. Wait. So this is where we were before. Oh my god. All this game needed was a map. All it needed was a map. Why the fuck? Oh. You know what? I think there's an FOV slider. Yeah, that's definitely better. Why isn't this in the fucking game? You need to use a trainer? Oh my god. Why didn't you like Black Myth Wukong? Oh, God. It was basically Dark Souls, but for dumb fuck retards. So if you're shit at video games and you wanted to play Dark Souls, but you wanted something that's easy and stupid and for dumb people, then that's what Black Myth Wukong is. That was probably the first game where I learned I cannot trust user reviews. Oh. Yeah, Black Myth Wukong was just terrible. That was an awful, awful game. Just straight up garbage for dumb fucks. Oh, fuck right off. What a shitload of fuck. There we go. Yeah, this is so much better. Why didn't they have a field of view slider in the fucking normal game? Instead they make you, use a fucking trainer. I don't know why the hell that didn't blow up. That's stupid. Eight potato donate $2. Did you see this? You're in it technically. This guy's insane, but is he right about freely?
So the blessed YouTube algorithm sent me a Freely video the other day. So I click on it and I'm like, okay, why'd she quit starches? Let's find out. And all YouTubers have been replaced by superior AI replicas. I don't know how all the tech works, but she's clearly maybe taken a picture of herself and then AI has animated her, because clearly looking great. Like her next upload was a real Freely and you could tell she blinks, she says that it's AI. Real Earth anymore. It's a test.
Whatever. Thanks for the donation, dude. baby? Oh. Come here, Gum Gum. Oh, what's my little baby kitty up to, huh? What's my little handsome boy doing? Are you just doing cat stuff? You know, you're so pretty. You're so fuzzy. Look at my beautiful fuzzy baby. Yeah, you're so beautiful and fuzzy. How come you're so fuzzy? Mwah. I love your little kitty toes. You're so beautiful. You're my beautiful baby. He is big. He's my big baby.
What do you think that stinky cum slut Christie is up to these days?
I have no idea, dude. No idea. Thanks for the donation, the fag who lived. Faggot Nutty Tillers, can we do a dono goal to unban Christy? No, not doing that. She's a dumb bitch. Thanks for the donation, though, faggot. Wait, we came from here, right?
Tell Zybert we are unable to accept any more patients. We can't let the same thing that happened in the steelworks happen here.
These people need our help. We need to be there for them.
But not at any cost. We must still exercise caution.
I'm afraid it's too late for caution.
What are you talking about?
It's already happening everywhere. And no matter how hard we try to isolate, nothing can stop it.
check every nook and cranny. We are no longer civilians. We are a war soldier.
Temporal destination reached. Proceeding with the search for the target, Dr. David Zibbert. Collective technology. The path has been paved. I need a key.
That's locked.
This is Dr. Weronika Kamiński. I'm stuck in the elevator on level 3. I need help. Can anybody hear me?
I can.
Shit. It's you. You are a stubborn bunch, aren't you? Well, tough
Hello
luck.
there.
Guess you won't get me as long as I'm stuck here.
Kitty.
I'm not here for you. My target
such a good cat.
is Dr. David Zibbert.
What? David? And how has he done you wrong?
He possesses the information I'm after.
Such a good baby.
I am not here to hurt him. I'm here to
extract him? Yeah. I know all about it. Hate to break it to you, but you're wasting your time. If you're looking for information, it's me you want. David and I, we worked together. There's nothing he wouldn't tell me. And I can share whatever I know.
I need to know everything about the steelworks, the
Yeah. I'll tell you everything. But first, you'll need to get me out of here. You're good with that?
Is Stefania Jasmine Durian Rider nigger?
All right.
All right.
Any idea what's blocking the elevator?
Biomass. It seems to have accumulated here in order to form a nest.
Fuck. We need to get rid of it.
I can't burn it.
Such a good baby.
It's covering the whole shaft.
And it regenerates too fast, I know.
Such a good kitty.
But we could use something we were working
So
on here.
good.
A sort of toxin? The problem
so
is,
good.
you can't just inject it anywhere. We need to find the right spot. It's hard. You need to get 3 specific formulas. They're designated Z5, C66, and X44. Find them and I'll tell you how to mix them.
Where should I look?
Check the infectious diseases ward.
Oh, you're so
The medical
handsome.
supply, perhaps. And... hell, let's try my office, too. It's in the administration section.
On my way.
I love cuddling with a big kitty.
I'll try to guide you through this mess.
Cuddling with big kitties is the best.
Beautiful look of defeat on your face. That face when you know you can't skip my donation in time and you are going to have to accept the banned unholy names that are being spoken. Lol retarded ass nigger code. Get a job.
Well, it is late. Probably try to get some sleep and shit. But hope you all had fun. Big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs. Appreciate it. Isaac will be moving in today. But I should be streaming later today. Not sure if I'm going to do a workout stream, but I will be working out today. Not exactly sure what my schedule is going to be like, but there might be a workout stream, we'll see, but I should be on later anyway. And if Isaac's up to it, maybe we'll do a stream with Isaac. But big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs, really appreciate it. Sweet dreams or good morning, depending on your time zone, and I'll see you all later. Take care.